She's back. This is my sister Barb, and she has lots of answers to the questions I'm going to ask her today. So stay tuned. I'm going to get on the other side and just ask her a lot of questions. My sister, now you're older than me, aren't you?
Yes.
Almost about how many years older? About almost 6, right?
Well, I'm 85.
And I'm 79. Okay. I just had some questions I thought it'd be fun to ask. And I know a lot of my viewers have seen you on here several times over the past. They've seen you when you was walking on the treadmill, and they know that a lot of times you walk 10,000 steps a day. How many steps you got already today, Barb?
Quite 9,000 something today. It wasn't quite. I went to the gym this morning, so.
Okay. So that's how you got it. Yeah. So that's how you got your steps.
Yeah.
And did you get in the water today? Do they have water?
No, I haven't done water aerobics for quite a while now.
Okay. You came up to visit me today, and was it raining?
It was pouring part of the time.
Yeah. So you had a little rainy ride. A lot of people saying they're staying in today.
It rained all day. All in all.
And then after you got here, what did we decide to do?
I got here, and it settled down a little bit on the rain, so I got everything moved in. And then we went to Taco Bell and had lunch.
So yeah, now we're tucked in for the rest of the day, and it's still raining.
Yeah,
got quite a puddle out in my side of the driveway there. I have some questions to ask you. I was born and raised in the house we lived in. Do you remember moving there?
Kind of, yeah.
You kind of remember? Now, Glenn was already born too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, so Mom and Daddy had 2 kids when they moved in that house. And
I was going on 3 when we moved in there.
Okay. Okay, so you remember that part. And then Sharon was born after that. And then you remember me being born. I'm the youngest. Yes. Okay, let's see. Did you walk to school by yourself?
I did.
That was a long ways. Did you go to? Okay, that's a good.
There was a while that the next door neighbor that lived right next door here, sometimes she would walk with me.
Okay. Was you afraid, or you don't remember that?
When I was by myself, yeah, probably a little bit.
Okay.
But a lot of times I walked with one of the neighbor girls.
Because Mama was too busy to take you to school. And actually, she didn't.
Yeah.
Do you remember her driving at all?
Mom never drove.
Never drove. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Who was your friends besides Rita? Did you have other friends?
Well, there was my next door neighbors was Simross. So there was Mary and Maud. They were good neighbors, good friends for many years.
And you hung around with them? Did you?
Quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. Even they were a little bit older than me, but we had fun with them. And who was Rita?
Rita lived down the street. His brother ended up marrying Joyce.
That's right. That was my husband.
So then Richard was my brother-in-law, but Rita and I used to always spend, either I was at her house or she was at mine a lot.
Did you spend the night with each other?
We did. I'd spend the night with her. She'd spend the night with me. We did that quite often.
Do you remember her going to church with you?
Yes, she did.
Okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Living in
ever so often she'd go with me.
Okay.
And even Richard, he'd go with us sometime.
Okay. Yes. How many children do you have?
I have 3 boys.
Okay. And how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 7 grandchildren, 5 granddaughters and 2 grandsons.
So you finally got your girls.
I got them in and then in the great grands, I've got 5 great granddaughters and I've got 5 great grandsons. I have had 6 great grandsons. I have my oldest great grandson he was killed in a car accident about 3 years ago. So that made one less on my boys. But
Do you want to tell a little bit of what happened there?
well, they took his mom and dad took his grandma that lives here to it was up in the Bay Area, and to go visit some family member, and they left her there. And then Ethan always loved the ocean, so they asked him if he wanted to go to Bodega Bay, which was just a little ways from where they were at. And yes, he wanted to. They went there and they took his picture. So I have a picture that was taken that day, the day that he was in the car. And then when they left there, they didn't get too far, and they was in a car accident. And he had laid down in the back seat of the car and went to sleep, and his head was right against the door, and the car hit right on where it hit his head. Did brain damage, of course, and he still lived about maybe 3 or 4 more days after that. He was in the hospital, and then
Did he have a seatbelt on?
We're not sure. I'm not sure if he had a seatbelt on or if he didn't. All I know is that they said he was laying over. So whether he had the belt on or whatever, but his head was right
there
up on the door.
One good thing about it, which is so sad to lose somebody, is what?
One good thing about it is they donated his heart and his liver and his kidneys. Yes, and and there's one girl that got a hold of them later, and I think she got his kidneys, and she wanted to meet the family, but I've never heard whether she actually ever did meet the family or not. She was an 18-year-old girl. He was 11 years old when he was in the accident.
He'll always be remembered and
loved. Yeah. Yes.
You want to tell what happened with that family?
Oh, and then after that, well, his mom ended up pregnant, never expected to ever have another baby. And she ended up pregnant, and they told her it was going to be a boy, but it wasn't a boy. It was a little girl. She's 17 months old now. She's a sweet little doll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In fact, I babysit her last Sunday afternoon. I babysit her for about 3 hours.
Oh.
And she was a good little girl.
Barbara lights up when she talks about those babies. She loves babies.
I do. I love babies.
Tell us how you met your husband.
My uncle's brother introduced, he married a good friend of mine that I went to school with from first grade on, and then they ended up getting married, and then one day he come over and he worked with my husband at the railroad, and he come over and said that he showed my husband a picture of me and says he wants to meet you. And he asked me if him and his wife took us to the movies, if I would go with them. And I said, yeah.
Was it a drive-in?
No, we went to the inside. So they came and picked me up, and they had a baby boy. They just had a little boy, not very long before that. And so they went with us, and we and so I met through them.
Did you date very long?
1 year to the day we met.
Oh, and
then we got married.
Oh, that's awesome. You had a church wedding?
Yeah, we got married at the church where I was all my life.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. What kind of jobs did you have?
I never worked for several years, and I sold Avon for a short time. Probably, I don't know if I sold Avon maybe a couple of years. And then once my kids were in school, and my husband got sick, and he retired from the railroad. And when he retired, then I went to work at a nursing home, and I did housekeeping. And I did housekeeping for I was there for 35 years, I think.
Oh, long
Anyway, and I did housekeeping up until, I think the last 2 or 3 years, I went into the laundry, and I did laundry.
And you like that better? Or,
Yeah, in a way.
okay.
I like both. I didn't mind both of them.
And you still keep in contact with some of them, don't you?
I go over there every once in a while and see somebody. There's
That
not
is
too many
awesome.
people left now that was there, you know. I think there's only one or two that's left
Okay.
that was there whenever I was there.
And how do you stay healthy? Because we already talked about you doing walking like that and going to the gym.
I go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I do the Silver Sneakers class, which we do a lot of exercise in there. And I walk on the treadmill. I try to walk until I get 10,000 steps.
Okay.
And then there's 2 rows of machines there they call the circuit. And I try to do every one of those every time I'm there. I do all of those machines.
And do you eat healthy? What do you eat?
Well, I try to eat healthy, but of course I eat meat, and
Yes.
you know, I eat. I don't overeat. I mean, I eat, you know, enough. It don't take a lot to fill me up anymore. But yeah, I think I do okay.
Yes. And vitamins? Do you take any?
And I take vitamins. Yes.
What,
One doctor I had for many years, he was very into vitamins, and he always told you what vitamins you needed and all that, and when to take them, you know. So I have some I take morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then bedtime.
oh, she's better, way better than me on that. Okay, what do you do in a typical week, kind of?
When I'm not at the gyms, if it's nice weather, I'll walk uptown or whatever, walk, and I have some. So if I have mail that needs to be mailed or whatever, I walk and go mail that, and then I try to get my steps that way, you know. But I don't always. It depends. Like the last week or so, it's been kind of. There was a lot of days that I haven't had too much rain, but the days that it's rain or real cold, well,
Right.
I've missed having my walk.
What do you do every Wednesday? I think everybody would find that interesting.
Wednesday
Yes, that's what I
afternoon,
wanna ask you.
my boys usually, well, my youngest son used to come every Wednesday, and then after his wife had surgery, and he cut it down to every other Wednesday. And then of course, if Mike's there, if he's not working, the middle son, well, he's there.
Right.
And then I have a grandson-in-law, which is my next to the oldest granddaughter's ex-husband. Actually, they're divorced now, but he usually comes every Wednesday and has dinner with us, and I cook dinner for him, and we have dinner, and then we play Mexican drain dominoes.
Every week.
Every Wednesday evening.
And you always cook for them, but they take you out sometimes and things like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of, it's just a great time for you to get together.
We do that. Like last Sunday, Bill, he goes to church with me quite a bit on a Sunday. And when he goes to church with me, usually he'll, how do you feel about this or that? And we go, he goes and he buys our meal, and then most of the time we just bring it home to the house and eat the meal there. But
you have neighbors that you visit with from time to time?
Yeah, I have a couple of neighbors that I do visit with every once in a while. I have a next door neighbor that she has a little girl she'll be 2 in December, and of course they moved in there before she was born, and then because my neighbor that was there for many years, him and his wife, they both passed away, and then they sold the house. And
you've lived in that house a long time?
Yeah, I've been there for about almost 50 years.
Okay, that's
yeah. And then there's a girl around the corner from me, about maybe 3 doors from the corner. Anyway, I visit her every once in a while.
Okay. And, one last question I wanted to ask you is, you go to church You did mention it. So
Yeah,
you go to church.
I go to church.
Yeah, and you love the Lord. And
Uh-huh.
getting ready to meet the Lord someday whenever.
Right.
Yeah,
Amen.
amen to
Yeah.
that. Huh? Yeah, she loves the Lord. And I'm going to come back over there for the last little minute here. I'm in the picture. Thank you, Barbara, for being my guest today. I know a lot of people are going to enjoy this. By the way, Barbara gave me this scarf many years ago, and I haven't worn it with too many things because I never can figure out what color to, the exact color that would look good. But I pulled this out today, and I thought, this works good. She don't even remember giving it to me.
I don't remember it.
And I want to tell Grandma Lois, if you're watching, if you go back in my videos from last winter and back further, you'll see I wear scarves a lot. Keeps my neck warm. Yep. Now, I did put this little flower thing in my head, and it was so rainy outside. But I want to thank you for coming today. Now, come back later today. If at all possible, I'll be having a live gospel singing at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. God bless you, and thank you, Barbara. And I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thank you.